Overnight success is a decade in disguise. Let me explain. Welcome back to the Daily Reps podcast. This is episode number 8 of the Daily Reps. We're going for 365 days this year. We're going to talk about playing the long game in this episode. It's basically where you want to think in 10 years, not in 10 weeks or 10 months or 10 days. So, for example, real growth, real company growth, real personal growth, real any kind of growth, any success metric should be measured in years, preferably like even decades, but certainly not measured in likes on your post, not shareability, not virality, because that's a one-time hit, and you should see it in a very small step in the bigger picture of the plan. If you are starting a business, for example, and you think that getting 10,000 followers on your socials account is, maybe you want to be an influencer, or maybe you want to create a marketing agency, whatever it is, or a business of some description, and your metric is 10,000 followers for an example, you really shouldn't be thinking that's all you need to do, or that if you don't achieve that in 6 months' time that you're a failure. I mean, in reality, you need to be thinking, right, what can I achieve in 10 years, in 5 years, play the long game, think longevity, and really think, is this something that I want to do for the foreseeable, and take it from there. I mean, it's not groundbreaking stuff. It's just trying to reframe your brain to thinking, right, I'm going to be here. If I get 2 likes on this post that I post now, I'm not going to be bothered by it. If I get rejected for taking on this new client that I'm pitching today, this new prospect, or I make 100 cold calls and I get no clients, yeah, you didn't win the battle today and got that client over the line, or you were successful in that post that you did on social, but at least you're still taking steps towards your main goal, which is growing this business, which is growing that social following status, whatever it is that motivates you to keep going. So you've got to really look at it like you're building the foundations day by day, brick by brick, and that's what this whole podcast is about. It's just 5 to 10 minutes of us chatting, sharing my insights, sharing the points that I think are relevant, and that I think that everyone needs to understand, that it's not a not a get rich quick scheme. There's no shortcut to success. There's no all of this urgency and FOMO and everything else. It's inflated to get sales and to get likes and to get attention, but it's not reality in the slightest. So this is a daily reset, this podcast, sometimes as well. So a lot of these gurus out there are selling you the dream, and the dream's achievable for them at their stage, but it's not achievable for you for where you're at in 2 months or in 6 months or in a year. It's not the norm. And I think that we need to get brought back to reality a little bit, and that's why I'm here. So if you've got a 10-year plan, or a business plan, or whatever it is, whatever you want to be and do in your life, you can't quit 6 months into the game. You've got to think, right, this is what I've achieved in 6 months, but what can I actually achieve in 10 years, in 20 years? If you quit 6 months into that game, and maybe it's just you've decided it's not the thing that you want to do, and I think that's fair enough. But if it's something that you genuinely want to do, and you're kind of at the stage where I just want to give up, it's not really for me anymore, you need to think, you need to sit down and you need to think and go, right, I'm at 6 months, I'm struggling with this, but what if I got through this? Where could that take me in 9.5 years? Because if you quit at the 6 month mark, how many 6 months are in 10 years? There's 20, right? So you're 1/19 of the way there. Just a quick one, guys. If you have enjoyed this, you are getting some value from this, and there are maybe saying things that make sense and that resonate with you, then consider commenting and liking and sharing this with someone you think might find it valuable as well. That would really help this grow. I'm doing this for absolutely nothing, and I'll see you again tomorrow anyway, but consider sharing it with someone you might think find it valuable. You're only a fraction of the way there, a tiny part of the way there, and you're thinking of giving up already. Reframe it in your mind. Think, okay, this didn't work, that didn't work, whatever it was, and try it a different way, or try and do more of it, more repetitions to be more successful. What's the next point here? So this is another point I want to talk about. Long-term thinking turns urgency into your legacy. And what I mean by that is simply reframing where you want to go in 10 years' time. Is you saying, I'm not in a hurry. I'm going to get there. It's going to take time, but I'm okay with that because I don't need it today. I don't need it in 6 months. And I know it's unrealistic to expect it in 6 months. You always, always, always want to play the long game. If you're doing outreach for your business, for example, or you're trying to win over a prospect, or you're trying to do a post a day on your social media to try and make some sort of impact, you need to understand that a month of doing that, or a week of doing that, or a few days of doing it isn't going to have any impact because the world's a much bigger and scarier place than you actually think it might be. So simply set targets and think longer term. I think if I can do this, for example, take this podcast for example, if I'm trying to put an episode out every single day for the next year, that's only 365 episodes. But it's the consistency that comes with that. And I'm putting out all the shorts on TikTok, all the shorts on YouTube and stuff, and I'm getting no views in the early days, and I expect that, and that's fine. But I'm playing the long game. I'm playing this for at least a year and seeing where it goes. But actually, I want to continue doing it as well for longer, and it'll evolve over time. Your plans will evolve and change over time. But if it's something as simple as posting 3 to 5 times a day, or it's doing a certain amount of outreach for your business, it's reaching out to prospects, it's all these little things adding up. And what would that look like if you maintained a reasonable level every single day for 10 years? Where could that actually take you? And that's where you need to think. And you need to think that if I give up in a month, in 2 months, in 6 months, I'm only a tiny part of the way. So I need to keep going, and I need to do more, and I need to be more consistent. And that's where discipline comes in. That's where this Daily Reps podcast comes in. And that's why I'm doing this. I'm doing it because I enjoy the daily repetitions. And I think it's okay if you miss the odd day, but never miss more than 2 or 3, and get back on the horse as soon as you can. So with that being said, guys, tomorrow we're going to talk about compounding interest builds legends. That's the title of the podcast, and compound interest is a fascinating topic, so we're going to dive into that. But the closing rep for today, I want you to make one decision today that you're going to stick to for the long term, that you can be proud of, and you know, your future self-respect. So maybe that's just outreach for your business. Maybe that's starting a business. Maybe that's doing more posts on social media. Maybe it's starting your own podcast, whatever it is. Maybe it's sending a love letter to your partner, or whatever it is, a note to your partner every single day saying something that you're grateful for. Whatever it is, think how that's going to compound over the time. And we'll see you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m, for the next episode.